Hi everyone. We've been working with intervals a lot recently, and I decided that now we have to flip the intervals and start looking at them from a different perspective. Everything we've done for the most part has been starting on this note here, this middle C, and always going up above it. We haven't really started on a higher note or a note different than C. We haven't really looked at what happens when you go downward in an interval. So that's what we're going to do with this. So what we have here is interval inversions, and that's what I'm talking about. Inversions in music means when you flip something upside down. And it's not just that way in music. There are inversions in math class. Say if you alter a formula and you make a graph come out the opposite direction, that's an inversion. In art and photography, there are inversions when you have things upside down or stacked differently. And that's exactly what musical inversions are. We can invert intervals, and we can also invert chords. So what we're going to start with today is inverting intervals. We're going to make interval inversions. Now don't worry, you do not have to follow along and recreate this music for me today on flat. There's a worksheet attached, but please do follow along so that way you can accomplish that worksheet. So what I've done here is I have arranged the intervals, most of the intervals that we've seen, starting from biggest to smallest. Now I will say we are not going to start with the octave. We're going to start with the major seventh. I have put the octave down here because it's kind of its own special thing, but we'll get there when we get there. What I'm going to do in this first video is I'm going to show you what happens when we change the octave of these C's. From here, when we have a C going up to the B natural above it, that is a major seventh. Now it is also a major seventh when you go from this B natural down to the C below it. So it is the same on the way up as it is on the way down. We have a major seventh up, we have a major seventh down. But let me change these C's. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me make sure this is highlighted. There we go. So now we have the C is higher than the B natural. We have a C, one step down to B natural, and one step back up to a C. So this is no longer a major seventh. We are not 7 steps away when we're looking at these notes. So let me pull up this keyboard, and it is showing us this highlighted C that we have. So counting intervals works the same exact way on the way down as it does on the way up. When we're going on the way up, we start with the starting note, set that as 1, and we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to get to B. That's why C to B is a major seventh. But when we're going down, we have to go the opposite way. And we do have to stop when we get to B. We're going to start with 1. So C is 1, and we're going to get to 2. We're just going to get to 2 to get down to a B. And notice we didn't skip any sort of black keys. So this is actually no longer major seventh. This is going to be a minor second, or a lowercase m2. So what you get when you invert a major seventh is you actually get a minor second. Major intervals, remember this please, major intervals change to minor when you invert them. When you flip which note is the higher note, you change from major to minor. And also, we went from a 7 to a 2. Now, this will make more sense starting in the next video, but when we add 7 and 2, we get to 9. In inverted intervals, when you add the original number and the inverted number, it will always add up to 9. So a major seventh turns into a minor second when you invert it. So now it sounds like this. We have the higher note that we're starting on, and we go downward, but we just take a little step and then that same small step upward. Join me in the next video where I go through this faster with the rest of these intervals and follow along for the worksheet.